Hello everyone, and welcome to another talk. We're going to work a little bit on scales and talk about a certain approach that we can take that gives us a really practical way to use a use of scales or any practice that you might be doing with scales. So the particular scale that we're going to think about is the Bebop. So let's say we have a couple chords in Nuage. So we start out with this B flat minor and the E flat. So let's say we focus on the E flat there. If we have a bebop type scale for the dominant 7, we might play something like that. Now, you might not want your lines to sound exactly like you're just playing through scales, so you might select 5 notes. Another thing is that you might not have time to play all of those notes either, so you can play. So pick one of the chord tones for this exercise, and just to remind everybody, I've got these different programs for the talk. So today is falling under the umbrella of practice ideas and concepts. So we're trying to come up with some ideas for practical ways to practice and things that you can do. Okay, so let's say we're starting. So if you're not familiar with bebop scales, you can think about the Mixolydian mode here with a little kind of passing tone between the root note and the 7. Okay, so what we do as a practice idea is so there's 3 notes and then pick 2 more. Okay, so we're going to start on one of the chord tones and end on one of the chord tones. We have root, flat 7, and 5. Okay, and then we can pick different tones throughout. So you could start on the 7, for example, and just kind of go from there, or 5, or 3. Okay, you end on the 7. So that covers each one of the chord tones. So you can work on, say, going down, which is very effective, but you could also do these going up. Okay, so there's an example on a dominant 7. So that's probably one of the first places you might want to start, but you can use the same basic concept on the minor as well, of the 2-5. But let's go to our next change. So we have A minor 7 flat 5, D7 flat 9. So again, let's focus on the 5 chord. So this is going to be the same kind of thing. There are a couple ways to do this, but I'm going to use, I know I talked a little bit about harmonic major, so I'm going to kind of pull from that. But this is going to be one of the modes of that. So we're starting from the G harmonic major, but we're starting from D. Okay. So you might call it, I'm sure it has an official name, but I might call it Mixolydian flat 2, flat 9, something like that. right, so that's going to sound like this descending. Okay, so, but that's, you wouldn't have to limit yourself to that one, but that's the one I'm choosing for this. All right, so you can start from there, do 5 notes. Okay, and then again, 5 notes from the flat 7. 5 notes from the 5. 5 notes from the 3rd. Okay, and then that kind of covers that. So then, of course, you could do that going up as well. From the root there, from the 3rd, from the 5th, from the flat 7. Okay, so that's going to cover quite a lot of that. So we have these moments where we have these dominant 7 type things going on. Now, of course, like we said, you can do that with a 2 chord. I think for today's talk, we might focus on just dominance in a tonic, major and minor, but we'll see how things go. But let's talk about G, since that's the next chord. So I'm playing a G6 right now. Now, the approach to bebop scales on tonic major, tonic minor are a little bit different than on the dominant 7th and even like the predominant minor type chords. So when you're playing through, you're gonna have that kind of, you might think of it as a chromatic passing tone, like just a passing tone between the 6 and the 5. Okay. A couple of reasons for that. I've done some talks on this subject before, so I won't dive too deep into it, but essentially the major 7 is, you might say, more dissonant than the 6. So that's kind of an issue why you might choose the 6th to kind of connect your lines. So it's pretty consonant on the major, with the major triad. Another reason is that the math doesn't work out if you choose the 7. So since it's sitting right next to the root note. So what we're trying to do is get 4 notes that we can land on and move stepwise to. So from the root, you would move stepwise. The 7 would be kind of a passing tone, moving to the 6. Anyway, so that's some of the reasoning on that. But again, what we're trying to do is create 5-note combinations. Okay, so that's from the root note, and from the 6. From the 5th. Take it up an octave here for the 3rd. Okay, so you try to get familiar with all of those spots, and then you can think about trying to improvise more freely and see if those seep into your playing, into your lines, and try to observe them. Or you might even deliberately try to get them to happen as well. All right, so let's take a we're just kind of doing a survey of some of the moments in the tune and just some of the chords and progressions and things. So there's another moment where we go into the 2, 5 to the relative minor. So let's take a look at the 5 of the minor. So that's going to be B7. And we're going to choose another scale here, which is going to be the harmonic minor. So E harmonic minor, which if you think about the that scale from the perspective of the B dominant 7, that's called the Phrygian dominant. Or you could think of it as Mixolydian flat 9, flat 6, or flat 9, flat 13. Okay, so again, we're connecting the root through to the flat 7 to get that smooth, stepwise bebop scale kind of sound where we have the stepwise motion in our lines, and we're trying to outline the chord tones by playing those on the beat. Okay, so the scale itself should sound like this, descending, and then ascending like that. Okay, so let's think about these 5-note combinations. So from the root, from the flat 7, from the 5th, and maybe I'll take it up an octave here. So that would be from the 3rd. Okay, so far we've talked about 3 different scales or modes or chord scales, whatever you want to call them, for dominant type sound, dominant 7 type chords. And there are others too, but those are 3 that will really take you quite far. But there are a couple others they're probably worth talking about, but probably won't get to those today. But so that's the idea of that, and then of course you could take them up the opposite direction. Okay. So just one little note into that. The descending feels very natural, especially when it comes to that larger distance, that augmented second, when it comes to that motion rather than up. So I'm not going to get into that too much, but today, but I may save that for another talk. All right. So let's talk about E minor. So it goes to the relative minor, the tune, Nuage. So similar to tonic major, we're going to treat this like a tonic minor. So we have, now there are a couple ways to do this. So you could have kind of a major 7. So you could think, okay, well, there are actually quite a few ways you could think about this, but if you had a, let's say a melodic minor scale, which is a lot like a major scale, but with a flat 3rd. Then you could, again, connect from the 5th to the 6th. So let's hear what that sounds like. So we have this is our chord sound. Okay. Now you might also just consider the minor scale, or also known as the same notes as the Dorian mode. So So let's hear how that would sound with this bebop scale. Remember, we're thinking about tonic minor. All right, so those are kind of two things that you could kind of look at there. And so let's create some 5-note combinations. So I'm going to go with the melodic minor there. We'll start on 6, yeah. Okay. Okay, and of course we can go up doing that. All right, so we have those moments. We have also the A7. And we have other locations. We go to C at some point, right? In the second half of the tune. So you can apply these concepts to those other chords as well. All right, so let's take a brief break just to talk about the channel and everything. So I'm doing a podcast on this today, and this is also available as a video on the YouTube member channel. So I've been doing the YouTube member channel. It's gone through some different phases, but I keeping it at kind of 2 tiers right now. So I've got a basic kind of supporter level, which is just a couple dollars or a few dollars, and I give sort of a studio update, and then lessons and talks or higher, well, that's the highest one. So lessons and talks. I have a lot of archived videos that I've transferred into members only. So there are quite a lot of those, and then I'm doing goal is to do a pretty much daily video around 1:30, and so those are a few things on the rundowns, and I'll likely have a new member update video hopefully today. We'll see how it goes. All right, well, maybe I'll play a little bit on Nuages, and I'll just play kind of solo really, and see if you can listen for some of those moments there. So sounds a little bit like an exercise, and that's sort of kind of the point. But we can use these small snippets of things. And I was bringing in the minor of the 2/5 quite a bit there, but you could really focus in on the dominant like we did in the talk today. So something like so just kind of moving a little more between with these 5 notes and kind of bypassing the dominant, so it will still, or bypassing the 2 of the 2/5, so it will still really work well even with the rhythm section. Okay, and then of course kind of break out of it and do other things and have fun with it too. But those are some ideas for exercise on this tune. And just to go over a little bit, if you do want to dig into the 2 chord, similar to what we did with the dominant, we take the root and then the major 7 and then the flat 7. So if you had, let's see, A flat, Dorian, you would have that. Okay, and same thing is going to work on the minor 7 flat 5. So a couple of things on the treatment of that. So if you're going to major or minor, you might choose a different note for different notes for those two. But basic idea is the same: is connect the root by a chromatic tone in between the root and the flat 7. All right, everybody. Well, thanks for checking out this talk, and so I should be back with another talk tomorrow, and I will see you all in the next one. Be sure to follow the podcast and subscribe on YouTube and all that, and I'll see you all in the next video. Have a great practice session.